So, like, for that person, like that, I know there's like a Twitch streamer who has Tourette's and is open about it, and they say like a lot of like stuff that like would normally not be acceptable. Oh my god, why am I bad? Holy frick. But like, I wonder, like, how are people with that, like, when it comes to like going to events and stuff? Like, I know she's spoken at like events and stuff like that, but like, I always wondered that. Because I always used to think to myself that even if I were to keep speed running and I ever went to like SGDQ or something, like, I would just be like, I don't even know if they'd want me. It's not even like I say anything really bad. It's just that, who knows? Oh my god, he looks so big in that angle. Like, you just never know what I'm gonna say. And sometimes I feel like I honestly can't control it. I don't know what it is, because when you're black, no one diagnoses you with anything. So, I don't know. Every single time I have gone to like get any type of mental health services, everybody that I've seen, they're just like, we just treat the symptoms, and we're focused on the symptoms. And it's like, if you don't have the money to like actually get like the thorough testing done, like, oh frick, let me not do that. You're just fricked. You're just fricked. But no one even like would encourage me to get testing. They would just be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. They just wouldn't focus. Okay, that was my fault. I wasn't paying attention. I just ran right into that spider. They just wouldn't focus on like what, like anything outside of, which just address the symptoms. And that's fine. There's two sides to mental health stuff. One side is a lot of people want to get a diagnosis because that's how they get help and access. That's how you get access to resources in the real world, per se. Nobody cares if you have symptoms. They care if you have a diagnosis. That's how accommodations often work. That's how this process works. Forgot about this one. So like, just because I say I have so-and-so symptoms, that doesn't mean anything when you're trying to get accommodations, when you're trying to get support and things like that. So like, a lot of people want to get a diagnosis so they can actually get answers and help and support for the problems they have, which, you know, that's completely reasonable in my mind. And then the other side is, hey, we just want to treat, you know, I think it is good to treat the symptoms, because some people get too attached to their diagnosis. And I'm not speaking about anyone specifically, but like, some people are like, oh my God, I have this diagnosis, so like, I can't do anything to help myself, you know? I'm just screwed. I have this and that's it. And in some cases, like with Tourette's, sometimes you can't control, there are tics that you cannot control. And that's just the way it is. But, you know, there's some things that you can do to help yourself that might not be just completely shutting off your tics. You know, there's different things that you can do to, you know, help yourself. So just having the mindset of, well, you know, I can't do anything. Like, there's nothing I can really do. I'm diagnosed, and now like there's no point focusing on the symptoms. I'm just broken. Like, I don't think that's a good mentality to have either. There's a worm there, but I think there's a balance in between those two things. So like, I don't think there's anything wrong of trying to seek diagnosis, because I know why I'm trying to seek it. I'm trying to seek it because I know that that's what matters when you try to get support for yourself. Nobody cares about your symptoms. They're just going to call you lazy, and that's the end of the day. Whether it's true or not, no one cares. So they can support you with the symptoms, and I think it's good to do that, but you also, sometimes having a diagnosis can really help, because that is what's gonna actually get the balls moving. The ball rolling? Is that the phrase? The ball rolling when it comes to like actual resources and support that will help you. Unfortunately. In our society, that's how that works.